What are fisheries? A fishery is an area where fish are caught for commercial and recreational purposes. The types of fisheries vary for the type of fish. It can be defined as a body of water or a collection of fishing activity that have been agreed upon by countries and fishers. You often have different fisheries for each target species of fish or shellfish. Fisheries include people-involved species or a type of fish, an area of water or seabed, a method of fishing, class of boats, and purpose for the activities. So how does this apply to the U.S.? U.S. fisheries are big business providing jobs and recreation and keeping our coastal communities vibrant. In fact, the U.S. is a global leader in responsible managed fisheries and sustainable seafood, working closely with commercial, recreational, and small-scale tribal fishermen. They have rebuilt numerous fish stocks and managed to create some of the most sustainable managed fisheries in the world. So what are the types of fisheries? There are many types of fisheries, but they fall into three main categories. These are recreational, subsistence, and commercial. Recreational fishing is fishing for sport or pleasure. It is harvesting fish for personal use, leisure, or challenge. It does not include sale, barter, or trade of any fish caught. There's no profit benefit, and it's not for nutritional benefit or need. On the other hand, subsistence fishing is for personal, family, and community consumption or sharing. It is a vital food source and livelihood for many communities. There is no profit benefit and usually happens in common and rural, remote areas. These are shared and consumed directly by families and kin of fishermen rather than being bought by intermediaries and sold at the next larger market. Pure subsistence fisheries are rare and part of the products are sold or exchanged for other goods and services. Commercial fishing is what it sounds like, catching and marketing fishing and shellfish for profit. They take place on large vessels, and they have a high degree of mechanization that normally have advanced fish finding and navigational equipment. Such fisheries have high production capacity, and the catch per unit of effort is normally relatively high. These are for profit benefit, not for nutritional benefit or need. In some areas of the world, the term commercial fisheries is synonymous with fisheries for species that are used for reduction to fish meal or fish oil.
Fisheries play a huge role in supporting both global nutrition and the economy. Over 41 million people rely on them for work, and for many low-income communities, fish is the most affordable and accessible source of animal protein. As the global population continues to grow and to urbanize, the demand for fish will only increase. Fisheries also drive local economies. Just in California alone, the seafood industry supported over 150,000 jobs in 2017. Also, every coastal nation has rights to fish within 200 nautical miles of its shore, which shows how important this resource is at the national level as well. Even though fisheries are valuable, managing them can be challenging. A lot of the costs, like fuel or market prices, are out of anyone's control, but what fishery managers can regulate is something called the Maximum Sustainable Yield, or MSY. This is the sweet spot where we harvest enough fish to meet demand without depleting populations. Successful fisheries manage balancing three things: healthy fish stocks, fair social outcomes, and economic profit. If one of those falls behind, the whole system will start to break down. Despite their importance, fisheries are often overlooked in national policies. The lack of attention can and does lead to long-term decline. What's often missed is how central women are to this entire process, from making nets and harvesting seaweed to raising fish and working in processing plants. Women do a lot of the labor that keeps fisheries running. As pressures on fish populations increase, especially with climate and population change, we need more inclusive and informed policies to protect both the people and the ecosystems that depend on fishery management.
Hi everyone, my name is Inga, and my first slide talks about sustainability. A sustainable fishery has healthy and productive populations of fish where the integrity of the ecosystem is maintained. The fishing activity within the sustainable fishery is well managed and ensures their environmental impact is reduced, including minimizing bycatch and collecting data to determine their total allowable catch. An MSC certified sustainable fishery must be scored highly against 3 principles. Number 1, healthy populations of target fish. Number 2, ecosystem impact minimized. And number 3, good management in place. The UN FAO estimates that 65.8% of fish stocks are within biologically sustainable levels according to data in 2017. There are 446 fisheries certified sustainable to the MSC fishery standard, making up just 17.4% of all fish caught by volume and over 180 species of fish according to data in 2021. My second slide features a graph of the calendar year 2000 to 2024 and the progression of the FSSI score. The Fish Stock Sustainability Index is a quarterly index that measures the performance of U.S. federal fisheries. Currently, the index includes 175 fish stocks selected from their importance to commercial and recreational fisheries. These 175 stocks represent over 80% of the total U.S. fishing catch. The index score increases when NOAA fisheries determine the status of a stock and when a stock status improves, either no longer subject to overfishing, no longer overfished, and stock size increases to at least 80% of the target or is rebuilt. The next slide features the topic of management. Well-managed fisheries use science and observation to ensure that stocks are fished responsibly, marine habitats are preserved, fishing is environmentally and economically sustainable, and use controls to manage fishing efforts, number and size of fishing boats, and restrict fishing days or times. Fishery managers can also improve or modify fishing methods and employ fishing observers. U.S. fisheries management is a transparent and robust process of science management, innovation, and collaboration with the fishing industry. There are 3 pillars of fishery management. The science is a rigorous peer-reviewed process which provides fishery managers with the information necessary to manage the long-term sustainability of U.S. fisheries. Management is the science-based process which ensures continuous improvement of fishery management plans in response to new information. Enforcement is done by overseeing compliance with all applicable laws, which ensures accountability to the resource and the economies and communities that rely on it. The system is designed to prevent overfishing, quickly stop overfishing when it occurs, and rebuild overfished stocks. The regional fishery management councils work to provide fishing opportunities and create economic benefits in their region while also meeting conservation and management requirements. The councils develop management plans that prevent overfishing, allocate fishing quotas to different fishing groups, implement gear restrictions, and protect sensitive habitats.
Even though fisheries provide a more efficient way of collecting fish and supporting food supply chains, there are serious negative impacts we need to be aware of. One of the most significant is overfishing. Overfishing depletes fish populations and in some cases even drives species to extinction. But the impacts go beyond just the environment. Overfishing also threatens the livelihoods of local and commercial fishers, as declining fish stocks means less stable income for those who depend on the sea for their jobs. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, the percentage of fish stocks fished at a biologically unsustainable level has increased dramatically from just 10% in 1974 to over 35.5% in 2019. This trend is alarming and highlights how widespread and damaging overfishing has become. Another negative impact of fisheries is habitat destruction. The use of heavy and large fishing gear can cause significant damage in the ocean's environment. For instance, methods like bottom trawling and long lining disturb the seafloor, coral reefs, and reduce marine biodiversity. These habitats take years or even decades to recover, if they ever do. Finally, there is the issue of bycatch. This refers to the marine animals that are unintentionally caught during fishing operations. Species such as sharks, turtles, dolphins, and seabirds are especially vulnerable. Many of these animals are injured or killed as a result. Estimates show that bycatch is responsible for the deaths of about 300,000 dolphins and whales globally each year, according to the Climate Change Review. These numbers are staggering and show how much damage current fishing practices can cause. So, while fisheries play an important role in feeding the world, it is critical that we recognize and address these negative impacts for the sake of both the ocean's ecosystem and future generations.
Some of the negative impacts mentioned earlier in the presentation were habitat destruction, overfishing, and bycatch. Here are some solutions. First, for overfishing, there are organizations such as Food and Agriculture Organization, also known as FAO, and Regional Fisheries Management Organizations, also known as RFMOs. These two organizations have rules that are enforced for catching limits so that they can only catch a certain amount. According to FAO, 80% of fish consumed today come from sustainable sources or are under active recovery plans. There are also stock assessments and satellite tracking that allows managers to monitor fish populations so that they can keep track and hold companies accountable. Another solution for habitat destruction is to hold those accountable and make sure that these organizations are following the restrictions and bans in certain areas in order to protect the marine life. Marine protected areas, also known as MPAs, cover 8% of the world's oceans, and they help to recover habitats that have been destroyed. And lastly, a possible solution for bycatch is to start using the new technology that have allowed for new devices and tools, such as advanced fishing gear, to prevent accidentally catching other species. For example, dolphin safe nets. Having the right equipment can help ensure that you are only fishing for the targeted species and to keep the others safe. To conclude, fisheries have both positive and negative things. When they are managed responsibly, they can help provide sustainable food, protect marine ecosystems, and support livelihoods. However, they can be harmful at times. But instead of focusing on only the negatives, we should invest into the solutions that can make fisheries a part of sustainable future. Making fisheries more sustainable while maintaining the liberties of those that frequent them should be the overall goal.
A lab assignment that helped me understand the importance of protecting our ocean's ecosystem was Lab 12, Primary Productivity and Marine Ecology.